Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. Everyone around you is not placed there to support you. Some people enter your life to slow you down. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is believing that every smile you see is genuine. Not everyone who appears close to you truly believes in your vision. Many are only nearby because they want access to your ideas, your plans, your direction. Their connection is not to your purpose but to their own benefit. You need to realize that not everyone in your circle shares the same role. Some people are meant to uplift you, while others quietly hold you back. Some celebrate you openly, while others watch you carefully waiting. Discernment is essential. Applause does not always mean support, and listening does not always mean loyalty. There are people who will hear your dreams, yet deep down, they don't want to see those dreams become reality. Even in powerful examples, not everyone close was truly aligned. Being near someone doesn't mean being for them. The deepest betrayals often come from those who were given access. The ones who can hurt you the most are not strangers. They are the ones you allowed into your inner space. That's why you must be careful about who you trust with your thoughts, your plans, and your heart. Some people are not building with you, they are collecting information. There was once someone with a powerful vision, a dream that carried purpose and destiny. The dream itself was not the problem. The mistake was sharing it with people who were not ready to receive it. Instead of support, it created jealousy. Instead of encouragement, it stirred envy. Those closest to him turned against him, not outsiders, but his own circle. Why? Because he revealed too much too soon. Understand this clearly. Sometimes people don't dislike you for who you are, they react to what you carry. Your potential can make others uncomfortable. Your future can threaten those who are not secure in themselves. That's why you must be selective. Not everyone deserves access to your next step. Not everyone should hear your plans. There was another example of someone working on something meaningful. Instead of announcing it, he stayed quiet. He moved with intention, kept his focus, and built in silence. By the time others noticed, the work was already strong and established. If he had spoken too early, it could have been stopped before it even began. Many people face unnecessary struggles not because the challenge is too great, but because they shared too much. They spoke when they should have stayed quiet. They revealed plans before they were ready to be seen. Some things are meant to stay private until the right moment. What is valuable needs protection. What is meaningful needs time to grow. Think about how nature works. A seed is not placed on the surface, it is buried first. It grows in silence. If exposed too early, it won't survive. In the same way, your ideas, your goals, your vision, they need space and protection before they are revealed. Be intentional about who you allow into your life. Not everyone who comes close has good intentions. Some approach as friends, but their purpose is to observe, to gather, and to use what they learn later. Protect your future. Guard your vision. Be mindful of who has access to your world. Move wisely. Stay aware. And sometimes the strongest move you can make is silence until what you are building becomes too solid to be shaken. Pay attention. Sharing your vision too early can cost you more than you realize. Not everyone deserves to hear what is inside you. Not everyone is ready for it, and not everyone will celebrate it. Some will respond with jealousy. Some will listen only to find weaknesses. There was excitement, a powerful vision of something great. But the mistake was not in having the vision, it was in revealing it at the wrong time and to the wrong people. Instead of support, it created resistance. Instead of encouragement, it led to opposition. Some of the struggles people face are not because they are on the wrong path, but because they exposed their plans too soon. The moment they spoke, resistance appeared. The moment they shared, challenges increased. So learn this, not everything needs to be announced. Not every step needs to be shared. Sometimes the best way to protect what you're building is to keep it quiet until it's ready to stand on its own. Understand this clearly, everyone will not be happy to see you win. Some resistance you face isn't random. It comes because what you carry is seen as a threat. The challenges in your life are not always about where you stand today, but about where you are headed. The attack is not against your present situation, it's aimed at your future. The moment you start speaking too openly about your vision, you can unintentionally draw attention from people and forces that don't want to see it succeed. That's why wisdom matters. Even in powerful moments, there was restraint. There were times when good things happened, yet they were not announced to everyone. Not because they weren't important, but because not everyone was ready to understand or handle them. You need to learn the strength that comes with silence. Your dreams don't need validation while they are still forming. Your plans don't need exposure before they are strong enough to stand. The most vulnerable stage of anything meaningful is at the beginning. Just like a seed, it has to stay hidden beneath the surface before it can grow. If it's exposed too early, it can be destroyed before it ever has a chance. There was a man with a mission to rebuild something broken. Instead of announcing it, he kept it to himself. He worked quietly, focused on laying a solid foundation. By the time others became aware of what he was doing, it had already reached a level where it couldn't be easily stopped. That's the approach many of you need to take. Build quietly, grow privately, and let your results speak when the time is right. Some of you are dealing with setbacks today because you told the wrong people too much. You shared your goals with those who were never meant to carry that information. Now you're confused about why things feel harder, why doors seem to close, or why opposition appears from unexpected places. Sometimes the issue isn't the plan, it's the exposure. There are battles that could have been avoided with silence. There are betrayals that might not have happened if there had been more wisdom. There are delays that come simply because too many people were given access to something that should have remained protected. You have to be intentional with your words. Excitement is natural, but not everything needs to be announced. Having a vision doesn't mean you have to share it immediately. There is a right moment for everything. A time to reveal and a time to hold back. A time to speak and a time to stay quiet. What remains hidden cannot be attacked easily. What is not exposed cannot be targeted, and what is protected until the right moment has a far greater chance of succeeding. Guard your ideas. Protect your dreams. Move with awareness, because speaking too soon can invite problems that were never meant to be part of your journey. Let your actions do more talking than your words. When the time is right, what you've been building will become visible on its own, and when it does, it will be strong enough that no one can easily tear it down. Think about this. True wisdom is not just knowing what to say, but also knowing when to say it and who should hear it. Not everything is meant for everyone. Even the greatest teachings were not always given openly to all people. Some things were shared with a select few, while others were revealed only when the time was right. Not everyone has the mindset, the intention, or the maturity to handle what you carry. If you give people access before they are ready, they may misunderstand you, reject you, or even turn against you. Some people don't ask questions to support you, they ask to find flaws. They don't listen to believe in you, they listen to criticize. There have always been people who approach others with hidden motives. They appear curious, but their real goal is to catch mistakes, to twist words, or to create problems. That's why you must be careful. Not every conversation deserves your full truth. Learn this lesson well. Stop trying to explain yourself to people who have already decided how they feel about you. Stop opening your heart to those who are only waiting for a chance to use it against you. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your plans, or your purpose. Life requires balance. There is a moment to speak and a moment to stay silent. When you understand that difference, you move with a level of wisdom that protects not only your vision, but your peace as well. There are moments when saying nothing is the strongest response you can give. When questions were thrown at him during one of the most critical points of his life, he chose silence. Not because he had no answer, but because he understood that not every situation deserves a response. Some of you are exhausting yourselves trying to explain who you are to people who have already decided not to understand you. You're speaking where silence would protect you. You're revealing details to people who were never meant to hear them, and in doing so, you're handing over information that can later be used against you. Pay attention to this pattern. Out of many followers, only a few were allowed into deeper moments. Not everyone was given the same level of access. There were times when only a small, trusted circle was present for important experiences. That wasn't by accident. It was intentional because not everyone is meant to see everything that happens behind the scenes. Some of you are making the mistake of giving full access to people who were never meant to be that close. You're opening doors that should have remained closed. You're sharing things that should have stayed private between you and God. Then, when things begin to go wrong, you wonder why there is tension, resistance, or confusion. Sometimes it's simply because the wrong people were allowed into spaces they didn't belong in. You have to develop discernment. You need to know who to trust, who to keep at a distance, and who no longer deserves a place in your life. Love doesn't mean unlimited access. You can care about people without giving them full entry into your world. Not everyone who stands near you truly stands with you. Some are around out of curiosity, not loyalty. And curiosity mixed with jealousy can become dangerous. Be careful with your words. Be careful with your vision. Protect what has been placed inside you. If wisdom was used in what was revealed and what was kept hidden, then you need to apply that same discipline. There is strength in knowing what to say, when to say it, and who should hear it. Also understand this. Just because someone is listening doesn't mean they have good intentions. Some people gather information not to support you, but to control, criticize, or even break you down. They are not in your life to celebrate your growth. They are watching, studying, waiting for the right moment to use what they know. This is why you must be selective. There have always been people who ask questions not because they want to learn, but because they want to find faults. They listen carefully, not out of respect, but out of strategy. They look for something they can twist, something they can use later, so learn to respond with wisdom. Don't feel the need to reveal everything. Don't give more than what is necessary. Some of you need to stop over-explaining yourselves to people who are not interested in understanding you anyway. Stop sharing your plans with those who are secretly comparing themselves to you or hoping you fail. There are people who will ask about your goals, not because they want to help, but because they want to measure you, to find your weak points, or to slow your progress. The moment you start sharing too much detail, you give them tools they can use against you. And then you find yourself facing unexpected resistance, wondering where it came from. Sometimes the obstacle isn't the journey, it's the exposure. You spoke too early. You revealed too much. And now the very people you thought would stand with you are standing in your way. There was someone who once had a powerful vision for his future. It was clear, meaningful, and full of promise. But in his excitement, he shared it with the wrong people. Instead of support, he faced rejection. Instead of encouragement, he faced betrayal. What he didn't realize at the time was that not everyone can handle your vision. Some people see your potential and feel threatened by it. There are people who won't dislike you because of what you've done, but because of what you are becoming. They see your direction, your growth, your possibilities, and instead of being inspired, they feel insecure. And because of that, they may try to block your progress before you ever fully step into your purpose. Some of the struggles you're facing right now are not because you made a wrong move, but because you trusted the wrong ears with your plans. You shared things that should have stayed protected. And now those same people are using that knowledge in ways you never expected. Not everyone who appears friendly is truly your friend. Not everyone who listens is on your side. Some are simply observing, waiting for the right moment to use what they've learned to criticize, control, or interfere. There was also someone who understood this deeply while working on something important. He didn't announce his plans to everyone. He kept it within, moved carefully, and built quietly. He knew there were people watching who didn't want to see him succeed. If he had spoken too soon, they would have had time to plan against him. But because he stayed silent, by the time they realized what was happening, it was already too late to stop it. That's a principle many of you need to adopt. Move quietly until your vision is stable. Protect your ideas until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Don't rush to trust. Don't feel pressured to share everything. Understand this. Sometimes the easiest way for opposition to work against you is when you give away too much information. They don't even have to search for it. You provide it yourself. And when the moment comes, it can be used to create problems that could have been avoided. So be wise. Stay aware. Be careful with your words. Not everyone who listens is there to support you. Some are there to manipulate, criticize, or tear things down. Guard your vision. Protect your future. And remember, silence is not weakness, it's strategy. There is a lesson here that many ignore until they face the consequences. There was once a dreamer who saw something great ahead of him. The vision was real, meaningful, and filled with purpose. But the mistake wasn't the dream, it was revealing it too early and to the wrong people. Because of that, he faced rejection, betrayal, and hardship that could have been avoided. When he shared his dream, he expected celebration. Instead, he received envy. Instead of support, he faced opposition. The people closest to him saw his potential and felt threatened. Instead of lifting you up, some people quietly search for ways to hold you back. The truth is, the resistance Joseph faced didn't come from something he did wrong. It came from what he carried inside him. His brothers weren't reacting to his actions, they were reacting to his potential. And because he revealed his vision too early, they turned against him. What followed, the betrayal, the pit, the slavery, wasn't random. It all began the moment he spoke before the right time. Many of you are dealing with similar struggles right now, not because your dreams are wrong, but because you shared them with people who were never meant to hear them. You opened your heart to those who didn't have the capacity to understand your purpose, and now you're facing resistance that could have been avoided. You need to understand something important. Timing matters. Just because you have a dream doesn't mean you should announce it immediately. Just because you see a vision doesn't mean everyone needs to know about it right away. When you speak too soon, you give people who don't truly support you an opportunity to work against you. Some will act like they're with you while secretly hoping you fail. Others will smile in your presence but plan against you in private. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself in unnecessary battles that could have been avoided simply by staying quiet. Even in powerful moments, there was restraint. There were times when something great happened, yet it wasn't shared openly, not because it lacked importance, but because there is a right time for everything. There is a time to reveal, and there is a time to keep things hidden. Some things must grow strong before they are exposed. This is where many people go wrong. They talk too soon. They reveal plans that are still fragile. They announce ideas that are still developing, but the early stage of any vision is the most delicate. If you expose it too early, you risk losing it before it has a chance to grow. There was someone who understood this deeply. When he was given a mission to rebuild something broken, he didn't go around announcing it. He stayed quiet. He observed, planned, and moved carefully. By the time he revealed what he was doing, the work was already underway. And when others finally noticed, it had already reached a point where it couldn't easily be stopped. That's a strategy many of you need to follow. Build quietly. Move without constant announcements. Focus on the work, not the attention. When the time is right, your results will speak louder than anything you could have said. Some of you are wondering why things feel delayed, why progress isn't happening the way you expected. But ask yourself, did you speak too soon? Did you give access to people who were never meant to be part of your journey? There are struggles that don't need to exist. There are battles that could be avoided. If certain things had remained private, the outcome might have been smoother. Yes, everything can still work out in the end, but that doesn't remove the lesson. Everything is not meant to be shared at the beginning. Protect what has been placed inside you. Move wisely. Because some people don't react to who you are today. They react to who you are becoming. And the less they know, the less power they have to interfere. Here's another truth. People respond to what you share based on what's in their own hearts. Not everyone interprets your words the way you intend them. When you speak too openly, you give others the chance to twist, misread, or misuse what you say according to their own motives. Some people don't listen to understand you. They listen to find faults. Some listen so they can use your words later. Others listen because they see you as competition. That's why you can't reveal everything to everyone. Not everyone is prepared for what you carry. Some things should only be shared with the right people at the right time. There are levels to access, and not everyone qualifies for every level. When too much is given to the wrong person, it doesn't lead to support. It leads to confusion, misuse, or even attack. Some of you are struggling today because you trusted the wrong people with your ideas. You expected encouragement, but instead you faced comparison. You expected support, but instead you saw envy. People are not always against you because of something you did. Sometimes it's because of what you represent. Your growth reminds them of where they are stuck. Your ambition highlights what they are not doing. Your progress exposes their lack of movement. And instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. There was a moment where one person's success exposed another's insecurity. Instead of improving himself, he allowed jealousy to take control. And that jealousy led to destruction. That same pattern still exists today. Some people around you are not cheering for you. They are watching you. They are not celebrating your wins. They are analyzing your moves. And if you give them too much access, if you reveal too much too soon, you will end up dealing with problems that never needed to exist. This is exactly what happened before. A vision was shared too early, and instead of support, it brought rejection. Instead of encouragement, it created hostility. The potential was seen, but it wasn't welcomed. Some of you have done the same. You shared your plans with people who see you as competition rather than support. And now you're confused about why things feel blocked, why opportunities aren't flowing, why doors seem to close. Sometimes it's not about the path being wrong. It's about too many people knowing about it too soon. So learn from this. Protect your vision. Be mindful of your words. Not everything needs to be shared. Move with wisdom, stay focused, and allow what you're building to grow strong before you reveal it to the world. Sometimes life feels harder than it should, not because your path is wrong, but because you told the wrong people too much. There was a man who carried a vision to rebuild something broken, yet he didn't announce it. He moved quietly, observed carefully, and waited for the right moment. By the time others noticed, the work was already strong enough that it couldn't be stopped. That's the mindset you need. Don't rush to speak, don't reveal things before they're ready, and don't announce what isn't secure. Timing matters more than excitement. Speaking too soon can invite resistance you never needed to face. Not everyone who listens has pure intentions. Some are simply collecting information, waiting for the right moment to turn it against you. That's why wisdom isn't just about what you say, it's also about what you choose to keep to yourself. The truth is, many battles don't begin with actions, they begin with words. The wrong person knowing too much about your plans, your struggles, or your weaknesses can create problems that never had to exist. Sometimes the greatest attack comes quietly through people who had access to your thoughts. You may find yourself explaining who you are to people who already decided not to understand you. You may be sharing your dreams with those who secretly hope they don't work out. And when things start going wrong, you wonder how it happened. Often it's because you gave away too much.